Sup you beautiful people. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Welcome back to another new episode of What If Deku Becomes a Pokemon Trainer. In this story, it is simply what you might expect. The story of My Hero Academia, but in world filled with not only quirks, but also Pokemon. If you guys enjoy this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel, after watching this video. Before we get into it though, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Dirt path. A lone figure walked down the sidewalk, walking alongside the large wall of UA High. His white lab coat hid most of his appearance, aside from an amulet that poked out of it. The man's round glasses reflected the light of the sun, covering his eyes. Long white hair flowed like a waterfall behind him, flowing in the wind. He held a brown briefcase in his right hand that held a Pokeball symbol on it. As the mysterious man walked towards the UA gates, he noticed a swarm of media and reporters by the entrance like they were stalking it. The man chuckled and smiled. "Ah, the media," the man said, his voice silky smooth. Always quick to gather the slightest ripple in the now. Yet always blind to the true importance hidden from their gaze. He raised his head, his revealed storm grey eye flashing blue. The media continued swarming the entrance, looking and demanding for a person to interview, oblivious to the white-haired man that passed by them, as if he was invisible to them. The man passed the gates, quick to show off his passkey to the censors, and entering the grounds of the prestigious school. The group of reporters were momentarily startled and confused, as the red sensor light turned green for a moment before switching back to red. As the man walked towards the UA, he mumbled, "Too easy. Though I pity those unfortunate enough to be caught in their ravenous hunger. Hey you. Can you tell us what it is like to work so closely with All Might?" Izuku paled as, on his way towards UA's gates, he was hounded on by a swarm of reporters and journalists. Pikachu was squinting his eyes from all the flash photography. "I guess I shouldn't be so surprised," Izuku thought. All Might, the most popular hero in all of Japan, no the world really, is now a teacher. Of course that would make the media go bananas. But do they have to be so loud and annoying?" Pikachu grumbled. "It's like a flock of coffee juice chattets." Noticing how the media was pressing him for his opinion, particularly a rather nosy brown-haired reporter with a chatted on her shoulder, Izuku mumbled and muttered on how to answer, before he was quickly saved by Serena. "Sorry to interrupt, but my friend here has to go to nurse's offices. Bye." Serena led him away quickly inside UA's gates, ignoring the cries from the media swarm. "Phew, thanks Serena." Izuku thanked the Hydro Quirk user as they continued walking. "You saved my butt there." "No need to worry, Izu," Serena said. "You always got my back, so what kind of friend would I be if I didn't return the favor?" "True, but shouldn't we do the same for the others?" Izuku said as he turned back to see many of his fellow students likewise being hounded by the media. Izuku saw as Iida was the only to respond to the reporters seriously. "I think Iida and the girls need the same courtesy." "You sure boss?" Pikachu asked. "Iida looks like he's having fun." "I don't think our assistance is needed, Izu," Serena said. "I think Mr. Aizawa was taking care of it." Sure enough, Eraserhead was talking to the reporters while instructing Izuku's classmates to head on inside. "Yeah, but I think that maybe Mr. Aizawa might need some help," Izuku said. "He's not really a fan of the media." "Speaking of which, how come you know so much of Aizawa as Eraserhead?" Serena asked, before she got a teasing grin of her face. "Don't tell me that you are such a fan of his that you scoured the whole net for at least one video of him." "I keep telling you boss, are we sure that a quirk isn't some mind-reading quirk?" Pikachu jokingly asked. "She seems to know exactly what you think and did." "Shut up," Izuku retorted, blushing at the rather close proximity Serena's face was towards him. While Serena laughed and his friends and classmates started reaching them, a shiver went down Izuku's spine. As if out of nowhere, Izuku felt a wave of fear and dread that seemed to permeate the area. Izuku's eyes followed where the feeling came from, and saw a single figure standing out far behind the crowd. Izuku's eyes whitened as he looked at the black-clothed, skinny figure, his eyes matted behind the shaggy white-blue hair, his one uncovered ruby-red eye peering at him with untold hatred and insanity. "Izuku?" Serena's voice snapped Izuku out of his trance. Izuku turned to see his strawberry blonde-haired friend had her hand on his shoulder, looking at him with concern. "Are you okay? You look like you just saw a demon or something." Izuku blinked in surprise before turning back to where the man was, only to catch one final glimpse at his approaching figure, as the security gates of UA closed shut, blocking the reporters from UA. "Yeah?" Izuku responded. "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm still a little bit scared of the media." "Oh, Izu, so brave and strong, yet cowers when having to speak to a group of people." Serena chuckled. "Hey, I'm working on it," Izuku retorted, looking back one more time at the gates before entering UA. After getting checked up one last time by a recovery girl, Izuku sat down in his as he waited for class to start, while Pikachu snored on his desk. Izuku felt Bakugo's glare on him. Izuku shivered in fear, merely out of habit, but steeled his nerves and tried to ignore the explosive teen, silently begging to Arceus that something would distract him. Hey Midoriya, got a sec? Kaminari asked as he walked to the green-haired teen. Sure, Kaminari. Izuku said, mentally thanking the Pokemon creator for hearing his prayer. What's the matter? Oh nothing, I actually wanted to show something to your Pikachu. Kaminari said. Pika? Was what Kaminari heard from the curious Pikachu. Kaminari pulled a Pokeball from his belt, enlarged it, and tossed it up, the Pokeball opening to reveal another Pikachu. Pika-Pie. The Pikachu cried out as it opened up. So cute. Mina and Tori squealed, the class's attention drawn by Kaminari's Pikachu's reveal. The two immediately began hugging the creature much to its amusement. Wow, I didn't know you had a Pikachu too, Kaminari. Izuku said excited. Yeah, since you were unconscious during the rest of the battle exercises, you missed out on seeing Sparky. Kaminari explained. Sparky? Izuku said. It's the nickname I gave her when she was just a pitcher. Kaminari said as he rubbed the Pikachu's head, much to her delight. Her? Izuku questioned, but quickly noticed that the end of Sparky's tail was shaped like a heart, rather than a regular lightning bolt like his Pikachu. Kaminari. Ida yelled. Remember the Pokemon are not allowed to be outside their Pokeballs outside of training exercises. Jellman, class hasn't even started, and she's not hurting anyone. Kaminari said. Plus I don't think Midoriya's Pikachu minds either. True to Kaminari's words, Pikachu jumped down to face his female equivalent, who turned away from Mina's and Tori's affection to look at him. The two stared at each other before Sparky squealed, her eyes becoming hearts. Sparky zipped over to Pikachu, who was startled by the sudden action. Sparky would nuzzle her cheek with Pikachu's, creating a spark that ran shivers up Pikachu's spine and struck his tail out. Aw. Mina and Tori, who were joined by the other girls, as they saw the romantic scene. As Sparky gave a lick to Pikachu's cheek, Pikachu turned to Izuku, his eyes showing discomfort and awkwardness, and asked boss, you gonna help me with this? Izuku had a mock pensive on his face before smiling and saying nope, who am I to stand in between you and your girlfriend? You traitor. Pikachu yelled as he received another lick from Sparky before running away, Sparky chasing after him. Let me guess, payback? Eevee asked telepathically. Yep. Izuku thought back. Good job. Eevee chuckled. From what I hear, it sounds hilarious. As the students laughed, Kaminari grumbled. Even my own Pokemon has better game than me. Izuku patted Kaminari's shoulder. It's alright Kaminari. You know I can probably help you out with your dating troubles if you want. Early Kaminari questioned in surprise. Sure. Izuku said. I mean, I don't know much about dating either, but the least I can do is help my friend and fellow Pikachu partner. Kaminari whimpered, his eyes comically watering. Blah. Kaminari immediately hugged Izuku and comically crying. Thank you Midoriya. You are a true Pikachu bro. After a straight minute of calming Kaminari down, and getting Sparky back into her Pokeball and off of Pikachu, Aizawa came in and started class. Decent work on yesterday's combat training everyone. Aizawa said, a stack of papers by his side. I went over the rest of the video feeds and your team's individual results. Aizawa continued. Bakugo. Aizawa turned to the frowning blonde. Again, I hope I don't have to repeat myself over our little chat. You may be talented, but that doesn't excuse disobedience and reckless aggression. So learn from your loss instead of sulking like a spoiled bra. Got it. Aizawa narrowed his eyes at Bakugo, who got the message and grumbled yeah, whatever. And Midoriya. Aizawa said, turning to the green-haired teen. I saw that you utilized your quirk in a safer manner, yet resorted to winning the match by busting your arm again, this time also spraining your leg. You cannot keep breaking your limbs training here or excuse it because you don't have full control over it. But your safer use of it is a start that is very promising. So show a little urgency and work on that use, alright? Yes, sir. Izuku answered, smiling a bit at the praise while sneaking glances at Pikachu, who smiled at him with a thumbs up. After spending a few minutes listing off comments and notes for the rest of the students to improve, Aizawa said, right, with all that said, let's get down to business. This next part will decide your class's fate. Is it another quirk test? The class all thought. You all need to pick a class representative. Aizawa revealed. Phew, just normal school stuff. A second later the class descended into anarchy, as practically the whole class started raising their hands in their desire to be the class representative. Many tried listing off reasons why they should be the class rep, only for it to be drowned in the rising voices. Others just straight shouted for the position like Bakugo. Why are they so eager to be the class rep? Pikachu asked. Doesn't that position just mean more work? That's normally how it is in regular schools, but in hero schools like UA, it's actually a great way to get noticed by hero agencies. Izuku replied to Pikachu telepathically as he raised his hand as well. It helps shows that you can lead a team like a real top pro. Silence everybody. Ida yelled, silencing the whole classroom, who turned to the large teen. The class representative's duty is to lead others, a duty that not anyone can do. This position requires the trust of their fellow comrades, or in this case, students. Therefore, to vote democratically is the best way to decide on a representative. We will hold an election. It's pretty obvious that you want us to vote for you. The class thought as they noticed Iida shaking hand. Are we sure that this is the best idea? Kaminari asked. We have known each other for only 2 days. Asui pointed out. How do we know who to trust? Yeah, I mean everybody is just going to vote for themselves. Kirishima said. Yes, most people will. Iida agreed. But that means that whomever is given multiple votes must be the most suited for the job. I get it, Serena said. You believe that whoever has the most votes means that they are the most trusted and therefore the most likely for others to follow their lead effectively. Exactly, Iida shouted. It's the most efficient and peaceful way, right sir? Do what you want, Eraser had said as he slipped into his yellow beanie. Just aside before my nap's over. He fell down to the ground and immediately passed out. Even your teachers at Aldera never slept, boss. Pikachu pointed out. You know very well that it was because they were too busy either praising Bakugo or scrutinizing everything I did and say. Izuku pointed out bitterly. On the bright side, this teacher actually seems to care about you. Yuvi chimed in telepathically from his Pokeball. He wanted to stop the match when Bakugo used the attack and made sure you and he were alright. Izuku looked to his insomniac teacher and smiled gratefully. Thank you for your trust, Iida yelled. Now everybody. Please cast your votes and we will gather them up and count. As the students thought over their votes, Izuku thought, should I vote for myself? Or should I vote for someone else? He looked towards his newly made friends. Mina's nice and all, but I feel like she might be too energetic and wild to be a leader. Kagakure too for that matter. Maybe Uraraka. Or Serena. I do trust Uraraka, she has proven to be a great friend, and we worked well together yesterday. But Serena is also my closest friend, and I trust her too. Iida is also a great fit for leader too. So then who? Izuku finally looked behind him, his eyes lighting up in realization. Bingo. After a few minutes of voting and counting, the results of the impromptu election were verified and written on the board. The two students, in the end, with the highest number of votes, were Izuku Midoriya with 6 votes, and Momoyoi Rosa with 2 votes. 6 votes, Izuku yelled astounded. How did that happen? Nice job, boss. Pikachu said. Now you're everybody's boss, boss. You're really milking that nickname dry, aren't you? Eevee replied. Okay, you idiots, who voted for him? Bakugo yelled enraged. What do you think anyone was going to vote for you? Sero questioned. Especially after that fiasco yesterday. A comical tick mark appeared on Bakugo's head. What did you say, weird arms? He roared in reply. Meanwhile, as Bakugo raged, Uraraka, Serena, Momo, Mina, and Higakure were innocently whistling. As for Iida, he was shaking, gritting his teeth in embarrassment. 0 votes. He groaned out. I feared this would happen. But I can't argue with the system I proposed. So you voted for someone else, Iida? Momo said, her words more a fact than question. But didn't you know that voting for yourself was better? Sato asked. What were you trying to prove? Don't feel bad, Iida. Uraraka patted her friend on the back. At the very least, voting for someone else shows you are humble and fair. Yes. You are right, Uraraka. Iida immediately recovered. I mustn't be so discouraged with the results. That is just the process of a fair electoral process. Well, that was fast. The students all thought the same once again. Alright, that settles things. Aizawa said. Midoriya is the class rep. Izuku stood in front of the class, nervous. And Yaoi Rosa will be the deputy representative. Momo stood beside Izuku, her face neutral, but inwardly was screaming in joy. Well, I guess if everyone is okay with it, I'll give it my best shot, Izuku said. Agreed, Momo said as she turned to Izuku. Although I must say that having my best friend as my boss won't be so bad. Izuku nervously blushed and smiled back. Damn it, Uraraka thought. I probably should have voted for myself. Now look what happened. Well, that backfired. Serena thought bitterly. I so wanted to be deputy rep with Izu. Ha, I think I just gave Yamomo a head start towards Midori's attention. Mina thought. Whoops. No fair. I wanted for me and Izzy to be up there. Toru whined internally. Now Yamomo is going to have more free time with Izzy. As for the rest of the students, aside from a severely angry Bakugo and a silent Todoroki, they were met with positive responses. This might not be so bad, Asui noted. Midoriya does give an innocent, trustworthy, helpful side. Yeah, I can get behind Midoriya as class rep. Kirishima agreed. After that manly show from yesterday, I'd follow his lead. And Yaoi Rosa was totally on top of it when it came to her training results. Kaminari joined in. If she's cool with Midoriya, then so am I. As the rest of students conversed in agreement, much to his embarrassment, Izuku noticed Iida being silent, looking at his table in what Izuku saw as disappointment. Later. After getting through their morning classes, Izuku and the group sat in the cafeteria for their lunch period. Araka sighed in relief. Finally. I thought we'd never get our food. It's always so crowded in here. It's because students from the support, management, general studies, and hero courses all share the same cafeteria. Iida replied. This food is so awesome. Mina shouted. Lunch rush is cooking so good, I don't think I'll ever live without it. Keep it down, Mina. Momo hushed the pink girl. There are others who would appreciate their lunch without your shouting. Izuku sighed as he stared at his food. Guys, I'm kind of worried about the whole class rep thing. Izuku admitted. I know I said I would give it my best shot, but I don't think I'm qualified for the position. Sure you are, Deku. Uraraka said. Of course you will do great, Izu. Serena said. People often say that those who feel themselves unworthy of a task are perhaps the best person for the task. Huh? Izuku questioned. Indeed. Momo said. If someone finds themselves in a task they feel unworthy of, more often than someone will work extra hard and turn out successful. An apt description of how I feel you will surely be. Izuku smiled though still felt somewhat worried. Iida noticed Izuku's worry and said, You'll be great. Izuku turned towards Iida who continued, Your courage, quick thinking, humbleness, and selflessness. These qualities are important traits you have that will make a great leader. Not to mention the strength you showed, in both power and spirit. That is why I voted for you. Wait, you were one of the 6 who voted for me? Izuku asked, surprised. Same here. Serena jumped in, further surprising Izuku. Me and Mina both voted for you too, Izzy. Tor said. Guilty. Mina admitted. You had my vote too, Deku. Uraraka said. Izuku didn't know whether to call them all crazy or cry. I likewise voted for you too. Momo revealed. Really? You too? Yeah, Momo. Mina asked, surprised. Then who were the 2 votes for you? I actually have no clue. Momo said, her face frowning in curiosity. Meanwhile, Shoto watched from afar, overhearing their conversation yet decided to not speak out. Actually, I was one of them. Izuku revealed. Really? Momo asked, surprised. Of course, Serena told me about your strategy and plan from yesterday, and how smart you were noting all the mistakes we made. Izuku said. I would be crazy to not vote for smartest person I knew for the position. Momo blushed wildly but smiled. Thanks, Izuku. As the 2 had their moment, Serena, Toru, and Achako watched with twitching, jealous eyes, while Mina merely giggled and smiled teasingly. Iida too witnessed the interaction and smiled. Another reason for you to be class rep. Iida spoke out. You 2 have a great relationship. It's wise to have our leaders to get along with each other. Izuku and Momo blushed and started shouting it's not like that and other nonsense. Araka perked up and asked, Hey, didn't you want to be class rep too, Iida? You did come up with that system. Yeah, I would have been cool with you too. Higakure said. You do also look the part with those glasses. I don't think that should be how we should choose a rep. Izuku muttered. Wanting a job and being suited for it are 2 different things. Iida responded to Araka's question. My time with my family's agency has taught me that much. Agency? The group questioned. I had a feeling that your name sounded familiar, Iida. Momo said. Along with your quirk and hero suit. Iida looked like was caught red-handed. With all due respect, I believe that you are mistaken. I actually have been thinking about something. Uraraka said. The manners, your seriousness. Admitted Iida, your family's rich. Iida looked surprised again before sighing defeat. I was afraid that you all would treat me differently because of my family. The group stared at the engine quirk user till he sighed once again and said, My family have been heroes for generations. You could say that it runs through our blood. What? The group yelped in shock. Of course, and my guess is that you're related to the turbo hero. Ingenium, aren't you, Iida? Momo revealed. Yes, I am. Iida said. Whoa, seriously, Izuku shouted excited. I know all about him. He's a super popular pro with 62 sidekicks working under him at his Tokyo agency. Not surprising coming from you, Izu. Serena said. Wait a minute, Iida, are you perhaps? Yes, Serena, he is my elder brother. Iida revealed, smiling in pride. Your family is famous. Uraraka shouted. That's so awesome. Mina joined in. Yes, my brother is in fact awesome as you say. Iida said, smiling as he imagined his brother in his hero suit, which he based his own on. Ingenium is an unmatched commander, one who embodies the hero code of honor. As the second oldest son of the Iida family, I strive to be just like him. Izuku stared at Iida in amazement. Iida's goal is just like my goal to be like All Might. Izuku thought as he smiled. No wonder we became friends so fast. Although while I strive to be like him, I'd say that it might be too soon for me to be in a leadership role at this moment. Iida said, turning to Izuku and Momo. The 2 of you seem far more qualified and adept as leaders than I am. Like you, Midoriya, you figured out what the judges were looking for in the entrance exam, took the initiative while the rest of us waited for a countdown that wasn't there, and executed a brilliant plan in our fight that caught me off guard and beat Bakugo. And Yoi Rozo, you analyzed and deduced every MVP in the battle exercise yesterday. Reps need that kind of insight that you two have. Izuku, Momo, and the group stared at the now revealed brother of Ingenium in surprise. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with such praise. Iida asked, nervous with the looks directed at him. I merely wish to state the facts. Oh, it's no problem, Iida. Izuku said. We were surprised you thought so much of us. Thank you, and I'm sorry if you felt uncomfortable there. Yes, I apologize for the stares. Momo said, taking Izuku's lead. I am honored for the praise, truly I am. As the rest of the girls apologized to Iida, much to his confusion and embarrassment, Izuku thought over what Iida said. I still haven't told Iida about the truth behind the entrance exam. I didn't really know about the rescue points, I just had to help Ichako and Tor. If anyone is deserving of my role, it's Iida, not me. Are you a professional idiot? Pikachu questioned. Izuku turned to the Pokemon beside him in surprise. What? Izuku whispered. I said, are you a professional idiot? Pikachu replied. Iida here was just telling you just now why you were the right choice to be a leader, and you are dismissing it just because you didn't know that one thing. Izuku's eyes widened in surprise. It doesn't matter if you didn't know about the rescue points, you still risked your life to save the two chicks when no one else did, not even Iida. It didn't matter if that was an exam, you still saved the two at the cost of yourself, even when you didn't had to. That sounds like a leader to me. Izuku looked at Pikachu in surprise before Eevee's voice chimed in his head. I wouldn't have said it like that, but he's right, Izuku. I know it may sound biased coming from us, but you are the best choice to be leader. You're smart and analytical, you're strategic, you put others' safety and concerns over your own, and bring hope and inspiration to your friends. Does that sound like someone who isn't worthy to be a leader? Izuku's mouth quivered and his eyes watered from the praise from his two closest friends. Suddenly another voice, this one feminine, chimed in his head. I agreed too. Izuku's eyes widened at voice. Ha, looks like even the new girl agrees with us. Pikachu noted. I may not have been around as long as Eevee or Pikachu, but from the short time I've known you, Izuku Midoriya, you are the perfect choice as class representative. The new girl mentally said. Your training helped improve me, even when I whined and complained, you still pushed me to be the best I could be. And if you start doubting yourself again, I'm going to pop out of this Pokeball and pack your eyes out. Izuku tearfully smiled. You guys. Hey, Izzy, what's wrong? Higakure asked, Izuku snapping his attention back to the group, who looked at him with concerned looks. You've been staring off into space and look a second away from crying. What's wrong? Before Izuku could reply, a loud alarm flared up. Warning. Level 3 security breach. All students please evacuate in an orderly fashion. The lunchroom exploded in chaos as students started rushing out. Iida looked to a nearby, confused senior student and asked, what's a level 3 security breach? It means someone has managed to get past the school's barrier. The senior student replied. What? The group yelled in shock. What is right, this hasn't happened in my 3 years here. We should get going. The third year said as he got up and rushed towards the exit. We gotta go too. Momo yelled as she got up, the rest of the group following her lead and rushed to the exit. The group found themselves being squished and trapped under a mass of panicking students. The hallway they were in erupting in chaos and screaming all around them. This is crazy, Higakure said. Everyone shoving and pushing on each other. They were quick to react. Iida yelled out. As I expect from UA students. But they are causing a panic. Momo yelled out. If this keeps up, they are going to trample Somana. Momo? Yoi Rozo. The group yelled as Momo was being shoved away from them. Iida wormed and squeezed his way towards the glass window, shouting, who in the world could be able to trespass on campus grounds? Iida looked at the window, his eyes widening in shock. It's suppress. Izuku looked out to where Iida was looking to see that it was in fact the swarm of media from earlier, now inside the school's grounds. Izuku could see Mr. Aizawa and President Mick holding them off. How the hell did they get past the barriers? Serena yelled out. That doesn't matter right now. Iida yelled back. Everyone. It's not an attack. It's Earth. Iida was being squished into the glass by the crowd of students, the cries of confusion and fear drowning him out. We have to do something. Mina yelled. But they with all this yelling, they can't hear us. Boss, you got any idea? Pikachu yelled as he was shoved off of Izuku's shoulder and consumed by the crowd of students. Pikachu. Izuku yelled. Izuku looked at the situation and thought think. I have to get everybody to know that there is no danger quickly. Or Pikachu and others might get trampled. Izuku looked towards Uraraka and the end of the hall, his eyes widening in realization. That's it. Ichako. Izuku yelled at Uraraka beside him. Use your zero gravity on Iida. Iida, me and Serena are going to toss you up to the doorway, and use your engines to launch yourself there in midair. Tell the students that everything is alright. Got it. Iida yelled in acknowledgement. Right? Uraraka yelled too. Let's hurry. Serena shouted. Uraraka pressed her hand on Iida, making him float weightless. Izuku and Serena grabbed his feet and brought him down. Iida pressed down, and when we launch you, shoot forwards. Yes sir, class rep. Iida yelled. On the count of 3. Izuku yelled out. 1. 2. Serena yelled. 3. The 3 yelled, Izuku and Serena launching Iida into the air as Iida kicked outwards, shooting off his engines as he sailed through the air. Iida spun a few times but ultimately crashed into the wall on top of the doorway. Iida quickly grabbed onto the rail and pipe above the doorframe. Alright. Be concise, clear, and loud. Follow your orders. Iida thought as he yelled out. Everyone. The crowd of students quieted down and stopped as they looked up to Iida. It's just the media outside. Iida yelled out. There's nothing to worry about. We are UA students. We need to remain calm and prove why we are the best of the best. The crowd of students looked up to the brother of Ingenium in awe and shock, before quickly calming down, looking outside to see that it truly was the media. Iida looked over to Izuku and the rest. Izuku smiled at him and gave him thumbs up. Iida returned the gesture with his own smile and thumbs up. Pick up high. Izuku heard Pikachu's call and noticed as Pikachu jumped over several students' heads before jumping towards him. Pikachu. Izuku yelled as he caught the yellow mouse and hugged him. Thank Arceus, you're alright. Same. Pikachu replied. I thought I was going to suffocate. So many armpits and feet. I'm never going to wash all that BO for weeks. Izuku chuckled and said, you smartest. Izuku turned to the group. Everyone okay? I'm alright, Deku. Uraraka said. Same here. Serena said. No need to worry. Peachy. Mina replied. All good. Tor said. Izuku. Momo shouted as she warmed towards the green-haired teen before hugging him. I'm glad you're alright. Momo. Izuku shouted. I'm glad you're alright too. Momo broke the hug and asked, I saw you and Serena toss Iida up there. I'm guessing that was your plan. Yeah. Izuku said. Though we couldn't have stopped this crowd without Uraraka's zero gravity or Iida. Izuku gained a contemplating look before turning to Momo again saying, actually Momo, I think I have an idea. Momo looked at Izuku with a raised, curious eyebrow. After the police arrived, they escorted the press out of UA, and the students were easily escorted back to their classrooms. As Class 1 settled down into their seats, Momo turned to Izuku with a smile and said, it's time, class rep. Izuku nodded before turning to the class, a slight nervous expression on him. So, I'm glad that everyone is okay after that little incident earlier. But now that everything is alright, me and Momo have decided to appoint a chief class officer, a sort of third class representative to organize plans and keep everyone under control, and we say that it should be Iida. The class looked towards Iida, who looked unbelievably shocked. During the commotion, Uraraka made Iida weightless, while Serena and I launched him towards the wall. Izuku explained. While we worked together to calm everyone down, we couldn't have done it without Iida's determination, courage, and his message to the students to calm everyone down. I second this, Momo said. Iida was concise and clear in his words. His determination in following Midoriya's orders to the letter was inspiring and worth commending. As such, the position is his. While Iida gawked at the two's words, Kirishima said, yeah, I agree with that. If Midoriya and Yaoi Rosa vouch for him, then it's alright with me. He stepped up and managed to calm everyone down when they were panicking. Asui said. I agree that he's the perfect choice. And did you see how he looked like those guys in the emergency exit signs? Kaminari said. That was hilarious. Anyone that could do that while being super serious has my respect. Give him the job. Wait. Iida interrupted as he stood up from his seat. Respectfully, I have to decline this position. I was merely following Midoriya's orders. If anyone should get credit, it should be him. As well as Uraraka and Serena, they too helped in the action. Sorry Iida, but I'm afraid this isn't something that you could pass up. Izuku said, smiling and pointing at him. You see, I'm afraid that me and Momo have become mad with power and are ordering you to accept the position. Indeed. Momo giggled. I'm afraid we are going to need someone stern, determined, and passionate about order to keep us in line. As Iida gawked at them, Izuku thought back to his conversation with Momo. Flashback. You want to make Iida a third-class representative? Momo questioned. The two stood in the hallway outside Class 1A's homeroom, Izuku proposing the idea as the last of their classmates entered. Pikachu stood off to the side as Izuku and Momo talked. As Izuku nodded, Momo asked again, okay, well, I agree that Iida is certainly qualified for such a role. May I ask why you came up with this? Izuku pondered for a moment, coming up with the right words before answering. At first, I wanted to give up my position as class rep to Iida. I felt like I wasn't really worthy of the role. Izuku looked towards Pikachu and smiled. But then a certain sparklet Pikachu smiled and snickered at the nickname of himself, Momo too chuckling at the name. Reminded me that in giving up my role, I would be disregarding yours and the rest's trust in me. That I would take your confidence in my leadership for granted and throw it away just because I don't have a high opinion of myself. Momo frowned, knowing full well of Izuku's rather low opinion of himself. She witnessed it firsthand on many of her hangouts with Izuku during the month before UA. It was one of the issues she hoped that this role as class representative would help with. I didn't want to take you guys' trust in me for granted, and, if I'm being honest, I wanted the class rep role to help be seen as a leader and help reach my goal. Izuku said as he thought of All Might and his goal to be the next symbol of peace and #1 hero. But I also saw, right after I was made class rep, that Iida was sad, disappointed really. And after finding out that his brother is Ingenium, I now know why. He wanted to be a leader too by like his brother, a respected and wise leader. I guess you could say I felt guilty for taking that opportunity away from him. Izuku, Momo said. So, I was torn whether to choose between giving up my role or keeping it, but then I thought of an idea that would help all of us. Izuku continued. We can appoint others from our class as helpers, like officers, to help us in our duties as representatives. So, I thought that both of us could appoint Iida as a third representative to both help us in our duties, and grant him the chance to be seen as a leader as well. Momo finished Izuku's line of thought. That does sound perfect, but why I consult with me? You are the class rep. Well, you are also the deputy representative. Izuku reminded her. You do have a say as my #2. But more importantly, you are my friend, a friend whose opinion and intelligence I value and respect more than anyone else, and I didn't want to do this without your say and approval. Momo stared at Izuku in shock, her cheeks lightening up in a blush at the praise and view of her friend's secret crush. Momo smiled brightly, bringing the slightly shorter classmates into a hug. Thank you, Izuku. You don't know how much that means to me. Izuku blushed bright red, but smiled and hugged his friend back nonetheless. Pikachu, watching from the side, smiled at the sweet sight. As they broke the hug, Izuku asked, so what do you think? Are you in? Yes, I believe it is a great idea, Momo said. After his actions and dedication today, I'm sure that he deserves it. Let's go inside and tell him. Izuku smiled and said. Also, I hope that my wish to stay as class rep didn't sound too selfish. To be honest, it does sound a little selfish, Momo replied, making Izuku's shoulders droop. But, I don't fault you for that. Izuku looked to Momo confused. It just shows you're human. We all have our little flaws. All we can do about that is to grow and get better. Izuku stared at his friend in amazement at her words of wisdom. Izuku smiled and nodded. You're right. I guess that's all we can do. Just before they head towards the doors, Momo decided to ask, although, I do have to ask, Izuku. Izuku looked back to see Momo twiddle her thumbs nervously. Was there any other reason why you wanted to stay on as class rep? Izuku blushed red before shyly looking away and muttering yeah. Momo leaned into which Izuku revealed. I guess, I just wanted to continue being rep with you. Momo blushed right red at the answer before shaking her head and smiling teasingly. Oh? I didn't know you were so attached to me, Izuku. Izuku blushed so hard that he looked like a tomato, making Momo burst out laughing, Pikachu following behind her. Stop laughing, Izuku yelled begged. The two would continue chuckling as the three entered the classroom, Momo still smiling contently. Flashback over. Snapping out of his recent memories, Izuku looked to see Iida still gawking shock, while the rest of the class smiled. Yeah, sorry, Iida, but looks like you got no choice in this matter. Uraraka chimed in. And since you are such a stickler to the rules and authority, you can't disobey the orders of your bosses now, can you? Serena questioned jokingly. As the class chuckled, Iida looked towards his friends who gave him smiles and thumbs up, Iida the most moved by Midoriya's eyes of full confidence. This is a waste of time. Aizawa grumbled as he laid in the corner. I don't care about who you want to nominate, just hurry it up. Iida sighed and said, if Midoriya and Yaoi Rozo are nominating me for the position, then I humbly accept the position. Iida raised his hand high. I pledge to carry out my duties as chief class officer to best of my ability. Whatever you say, emergency exit. Kirishima chuckled. Emergency exit Iida. Kaminari said. Now that's a name. Don't let us down, Iida. Mina cheered for him. Iida nodded and walked up towards Izuku and Momo, shaking their hands in acceptance. Iida smiled at the two, who both smiled back. Meanwhile, outside, Nezu stood before the gates of UA, accompanied by a recovery girl, a mature woman in a sexy dominatrix outfit, and another wearing a large puffy spacesuit. How are ordinary members of the press able to bypass our security systems? Nezu asked as he looked at the remnants of the main barrier. The barrier that kept the press out was now a pile of rubble and dust, the wind blowing away the smallest pieces as they decayed further in wind. Someone else must have been behind this, Nezu muttered. Some villain bypassed our defenses. But the now question remains. Was this a show of force, or a declaration of war? Back at class 1A. Alright, now that we got that settled with, it's time to begin your afternoon class. Aizawa said. Today, instead of hero training, we are going to have Pokemon training class. In UA, while we train you to your fullest abilities, we also cannot forget the integral role that Pokemon still have on our society. As such, every week, unless there is an exception, we will have 3 days involving hero training, 2 days training primarily on your Pokemon, and 1 day for both you and your Pokemon combined. Will you also be teaching this class, sir, or will we be tutored by All Might? Iida asked. Neither. Aizawa answered. Instead, you will be taught by our newest member of the UA staff. You can come on in. The door to class 1 opened and out entered a man who drew the eyes of all the class, even Bakugo, in shock. The man walked with an air of grace that seemed to transfix the students on his every move. Izuku noticed a weird-looking amulet around his neck. Suddenly, a shiver ran throughout Izuku's spine, his head flaring so much that Izuku felt like it was exploding. As Izuku recovered, he noticed the man's storm-gray eyes staring at him for a second, before turning away to look at the rest of the class. The man smiled softly towards the class, pushing up his glasses to fully reveal his storm-gray eyes. Good afternoon, class. The man spoke, his voice smooth and soft like silk. As Eraser said, I will be your newest Pokemon Center teacher. My name is Tengoku Taishi. Mr. Taishi or just Taishi would be alright. So, shall we get started? Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.